Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another year of Out on That Line. It's 2022, and we are ready to bring you the latest and greatest in music and tell you what to think and how to feel. A little business off the top. You will notice that we seem to have had some technical difficulties. Why not, in time for the first show of the year, start off with a bang? Makes sense to me. But we're shaking the rust off here, and I want to spin zone this for you. I don't want you to look at this as one of the microphones went out of whack. I want you to look at it as a lo-fi podcast. We're going lo-fi for this one to start the year. Bear with us for this episode. A brand new season of Out on That Line starts right now.
Hello, welcome back to the Out on That Line podcast, the first one of 2022. This is going to be track number 61. My name is Geoff with my co-host Alex. As always, Alex, how you doing this week?
It's a new year, and it's a new me, Geoff. And in 2022, with Out on That Line, you know what I'm going to do? All negative reviews from now on. You can anticipate that I'm going to hate it, but you don't know how I'm going to hate it. So make sure you tune in every single week.
Well, the Weeknd may have something to say about that since we're likely doing his album next week. And I think he might have already had something to say to you, pal.
Well, first of all, I'd like to compliment your transition. Weeknd, great stuff, Vic, top notch. Yeah, I had a little run-in with Universal Music Group this week.
Little knockdown drag out? Tell us the story.
No, it was a job. I did the job. I laid down for the 3-second tan for YouTube. They said, not today, Sonny, not worth it. You don't make us any money. So, yeah, basically, I tried to do a reaction to the Weeknd's song Sacrifice. I went through, because the album Dawn FM all dropped at once. He didn't release any singles from it in anticipation of it. So I went and I found the song Sacrifice because it had 8 million views. I'm like, well, this is the one people are digging. I'll make a reaction video. I'll show a little teat for the YouTube community, because I don't know if the people know this. And if you're not, you should, because we are on YouTube and we're kind of kicking ass.
We are. And I mean, as much as I would love to take credit, because I do love taking credit for things, I really can't take any credit for this at all. I mean, it's just, you're a meteor on there, my friend, just streaking across the sky.
It's that one video that really kind of put us on some radars, I think.
Yeah.
So, and again, that's not to toot my own horn. I'm just saying we were fortunate. We lucked in from the suggestion from one of the members of our YouTube community. So really, we owe them.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for with this thing, though. That's exactly what we wanted to end up with, was some communication, between us and the masses, and let them tell us what they want to hear, because we want to talk about music anyway. So, to a certain extent, we don't really care what it is that we talk about, so just tell us, if you got a topic that you're interested in, some weird bit of news, a song, anything like that, just tell us what you want to hear.
Yeah, I mean, today's album that we're covering was a suggestion. I'm assuming you got it from the same place I did, which was the best and worst year-end. Somebody commented, like, did you guys ever consider doing Snail Mail?
Yep.
There you got it.
From exactly there, and it was a good idea. Definitely falls in with our streak of doing a lot of indie girls.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So why not start 2022 off the same way we did most of 2021?
We're playing the hits, baby.
Yeah, I haven't gone back and counted, but somebody can go on there and count. Just go onto our Spotify, whatever, and just find out how many times we did like indie girls or indie bands. It was a hefty amount.
They should I guess I should do a supercut of all the indie girl episodes that we did and see if we can distinguish who we were talking about. Like find sections with no names and be like, okay, Geoff, who do you think we were talking about here?
we should do that. And I think but maybe this year we should focus on different things. 2022 can be the year of new metal.
Ooh.
It can be the year of disco. It could be the year of bro country. It's up to us, really.
Yeah. Bro country, you're going to have a hard time convincing me that this is the year of bro country.
Well, I hope that I would have a hard time convincing you of the other two, but I guess not.
It would be a short year. Yeah, new metal.
Is there something you want to tell me?
I like disco. I've never made any bones about that. I think disco's fun as hell.
Okay. Well, there were probably better times in my life to appreciate disco than now. I don't really. I have fun, but I don't have the kind of fun that I had back in college. If you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe then I would have appreciated it more. But who knows? Maybe 2022 is the year of something new.
Maybe, because the thing about disco that I love is it personally gets me fired up. It's great workout music because that four on the floor and the soaring vocals. That's why I really appreciate disco. And today's artists just need to take a chance. They just got to get in there. Disco's right there. And hipsters love to, it's so postmodern to take old stuff that is supposed to be crappy. We're going to say David Lynch's Dune was good. No, it's not. It's a big flaming piece of shit. Don't try to rewrite history. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. And that's my message.
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know. I had a train of thought going here. And
I'm so sorry.
But it's okay. It happens. When you live the kind of fast-paced, high impact life that we do, it's bound to happen once in a while.
Yeah. Hazards of the job.
hazards of the job. I adhere to a pretty strict drug regimen to keep my mind, limber.
The bomb's lost, Lebowski.
It's just what I do. Well, do you want to tell folks what we're doing this week? Do you have any more news items that you want to get to?
No, I guess we never really finished the original thought, which was, long story short, UMG hit us with a blocked in all territories for the weekend sacrifice reaction video that I tried to do. So maybe you're one of the 8 people that got to see it before it got whacked out of existence. I even cut the song out of it, which makes it a shitty reaction video.
It's our first NFT.
Oh my God. I do. I still have the file. It could be our first NFT.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Holy shit. Okay, well, start the bidding at whatever you think that's worth, everybody.
I mean, at 6 figures, right? You can get a deal if you're listening to this.
You know what we could get 6 figures for? The lost episode.
You think so? I feel like that would be 7 things.
I could see that.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of history.
It's lost to history. It's cryptozoological at this point. So.
I think so. I mean, the video that you posted was what, maybe 7-8 minutes long?
Yeah, something like that.
Thereabouts. Okay, so our normal episodes are about an hour.
Yep.
So let's just round that up to 10 minutes, just to make this easy. 1/6 of an hour. So if we're getting 6 figures, so I guess at least 600,000 for the last episode. I mean, it's math.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't follow it at all, but I'm also fucking stupid, so
well,
I leave the numbers game to you.
I think some of my algebra inclined followers, of which there are many, they'll understand. They'll get it.
They'll go along for the ride.
Yeah.
So anyway, keep sending suggestions for reaction videos. I'm gonna try to learn how to not get kicked in the ass for doing these.
Listen, you fall down 7 times, you get up 8. Right? That's always been our motto.
Why do we fall, Master Wayne?
Yeah, we say it every episode.
Yep.
Well, do you want to get into it? Do you want to do this thing that we came here to do?
Let's do it.
Okay, well, Snail Mail Valentine is going to be the album we talk about this week. Came out in September of last year is what the internet is telling me. And I just missed this one. I think I saw when it came out because obviously, we've been listening to a lot of the indie girl stuff, so my Spotify was chock full of that, and so were my suggestions. So I definitely saw it on there, but I was like, I'm not going to go out of my way for this one. Maybe sometime we'll do it for the pod. And then we got a request for it. So kind of lit the fire under our ass to get going. We figured why not do something that was requested to start off 2022, since that's why we ended 2021 so well, was all of our user interaction. So I felt like it made sense. You were on board, and here we are.
And here we are. And I had heard of Snail Mail. I have a song on a playlist. I can't even tell you what the song is. I know it's off Lush, but I can't even tell you what the name of the song is off the top of my head. I just know that is the one Snail Mail thing I had heard until friend of the show Jesse sent me Valentine when it came out as a single. I remember listening to it and being like, okay, yeah, this is pretty dope. This could be an interesting direction for an album. And then lo and behold, we get that suggestion for the whole album. So here we are.
Yes, here we are. And this is exactly why I think it's valuable to have people suggest things to us, because I don't know if we really would have gotten to this album. I think it was one that neither of us would have been against. But, just knowing that somebody out there wanted to hear what we thought of it, it's kind of a good catalyst to do these things. So it helps in our decision-making process, i.e. makes it so we don't have to make a decision, which I think we both prefer. And it's something that we know people are going to hopefully interact with. So it's just upping our odds, increasing our odds to make this thing famous, which is really the end goal. Yeah. I'm looking to retire by like 36, turning 35 this year, so it's going to be tough, but I think we can do it.
We still have time, and I feel like if we do, in fact, become the premier indie girl music review podcast, dance with the date that brung you. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it. That money's still green and it folds. Like, why not?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And I would say that it spends the same, but there's a lot of places that don't accept cash anymore. So
yeah, we'll have to come up with out on that line coin or something.
Out on that line bucks.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. That's what we can pay our workers in. Yeah. And then, we'll just make sure that there's, some kind of grocery store that we own and operate that they can purchase all their necessities. We'll make sure there's housing for them. And we can just deduct that out of their wages. It's kind of a genius idea. I don't think anyone's ever done that.
I think this is specifically where we should be aiming our efforts as well. Yeah, you can get more clicks on YouTube. Yeah, you can get maybe some sponsors from like a gummy vitamin that gives you a boner. That's all great, but that's been done. I don't think a podcast has ever owned and operated a corporation with a company store. That's something to shoot for, because you make it sound dystopian, but we could make it pretty sweet for you guys as long as you open those wallets.
I mean, we decorate it with some like vinyls, so people are like, "Oh, this place is cool." They got vinyl on the wall. That's cool. Yeah. And they wouldn't, I was about to say suspect as if we were doing anything wrong, but they wouldn't know any different. It'd be just like shopping at Whole Foods.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about a ping pong table? We could put a ping pong table in the facility. One ping pong table. One.
All the soda fountain. Free refills.
Ooh, Jeff. Yeah. We are in the middle of a pandemic and inflation runs rampant. Let's not dream too big.
Yeah, but no to-go cups.
Okay. Yep. All right. We've solved it.
Yeah.
Motion approved.
All right. Wow. I'm glad you got that sorted out.
Me too. That was a great use of our time.
Well, what do you say we get started with the opening song? And it's also conveniently the title track, Valentine. This was one that I chose because I did not know at all what to expect from Snail Mail. I never listened to, at least as far as I was aware, I never listened to Snail Mail, ever. But I'll tell you, this song was a kick in the ass. And I was like, hell yeah. This gave me like Phoebe Bridgers vibes. I was like, we're talking about that kind of indie girl. Okay. This song was just like shot out of a cannon. It was just like doesn't Brutal start out the Olivia Rodrigo album, Sour?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so that's same energy on this one that I got from Brutal, which I named the album of the year, I'm pretty sure. But it's just that good. Like it's just a rock and roll song, and I think she does a good job at being like clever with her lyrics, but not complex with them. That's what I kind of like about it. It's like it serves the music very well. Everything has a very good balance, and the way it just like goes and drives, I love that about this song.
This is gonna sound like a dig, but the lyrics are pretty meat and potatoes. You know what I mean? It's not.
Yep.
It's not so esoteric you can't understand it, and it's not so blunt and on the nose that it's not interesting. So I have like next to no complaints about the lyrics. There's some songs and some points where it's a little overly simplistic, but who gives a shit? When Valentine started, I was like, oh, okay, this is probably going to be more like Julian Baker than Lucy Dacus, or like Mitski is someone I ended up getting certain vibes from in this. I didn't think it was going to trend in that direction. I was like, it's probably going to be kind of a safe, fly under the radar thing, which in many ways it is a safe album, not getting too far out there in terms of changing the sound. But as soon as the chorus kicks in on this fucking song, that hook right there, why'd you want to erase me? Like, ooh, this is good. This is where it takes off. This is where it steps up.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know what, that specifically gave me like Illuminati Hotties vibes.
Yes, yeah.
Like just the way that it just is like big, you know, it's just a big chorus, like all of a sudden out of nowhere. It's like that kind of like 80s kind of garage rock almost. You know, it's like that kind of pre-grunge kind of sound where like bands were starting to get, you know, it wasn't just about hair metal. It was just like they were like, let's get a little weird. You know, and I think that to me just gives me energy that I don't feel from, you know, I don't think it's like a modern rock and roll energy. I think it's like a very vintage kind of energy. And to me, the way that chorus hits and goes up like that, man, it just takes the song, what I already was really enjoying myself, but then you hit a chorus like that and a melody like that, you're like, damn, this song fucks.
Yeah, there are parts of it that remind me of like Sleater-Kinney. It's like pretty punked up. She was born in 1999, so there's kind of that.
Jesus Christ.
I know. Hey, it wasn't after 9/11. That's the shit that freaks me out. Yeah. Anyone born after 9/11, you can't trust them. Sorry.
You cannot.
It's a fact, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry if that applies to you, but you know it's true deep in your
heart. I don't think anybody that young listens to this. I don't think so. No.
The Olivia Rodrigo episode might have been the gateway drug for them.
That could have been. Yeah, you're right.
But at any rate, yeah, I think her sound is kind of a hangover from like the sound of the late 90s bleeding over into the early 2000s. And, you know, ostensibly you're going to listen to the stuff like I would say around like 5 or 6. Maybe you're not really contextualizing all these songs, but when you get older, you'll look back to around that time, be like, yeah, I vaguely remember hearing, like, for me, that song is Love Shack. That's the first song I remember, like, hearing and being able to identify as a kid.
Yep. To me, I think Whoop There It Is the first song.
Nice one.
Of that for me. Yeah, that song fucks.
Was it while your dad was shooting hoops in the driveway?
I don't know if my dad ever played basketball. I don't think that was ever in his repertoire.
I just see him with a headband on hanging off the rim.
Just throwing down like a reverse 360.
Yes.
Slammaroo, something.
Leaving the little chemtrails behind him like it's NBA Jam, yeah.
I'm in there watching Space Jam like, oh, this is cool. You know, my dad's out there doing backflips in the driveway.
Oh, fuck. A lot of fun tangents tonight.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Well, you know, you had to blow off a little steam. We had some time off. You know, you got to get that energy out.
It is. It's the first one back. We're just getting loose with it.
Yeah. It's the first one in 2022. You know, what are you going to do?
Yeah, and this is a weirdly feel-good album, despite the fact that it's about a fucking breakup.
Some people are good like that, though.
Yeah.
You know, they just pull like same thing Casey Musgraves does. Like there was a lot of sad songs on Golden Hour, but she was able to kind of pull it out, make it overall a very happy experience, you know?
Yeah, happy and sad should not be a fucking jam, but it is.
Yep.
So.
And it was perfect. Happy and sad at the same time. So simple. Simple.
Elegant with simplicity.
Yes. Well, the next one is Ben Franklin, not only a founding father, right? Who's founding father? Is that
Yeah.
true?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You didn't have to be
Got a
president.
little self-conscious. You know, this is going to be broadcast on the internet. I gotta be sure. They'll tear you apart for anything. But this was another one that I chose. And again, because it's just like, I think I was more into the lyrics on this one than I was on Valentine. And so the music was, I feel like, told back a little more, but the lyrics were better. So I feel like she just balances really well. And that's something I noticed throughout the whole album is it just kind of, every part of the experience kind of serves what it needs to serve. You know, it does what it needs to do. You know, there were some really, really great moments. This one was one of them for me. Just the way that it's very conversational too. Like the chorus, "Sucker for the pain, huh, honey?" You know, it's like asking this like kind of sneering question. You know, and it's just like a very conversational experience on a lot of it, and not just this song, but many of them. But this one was the one where I really noticed that for the first time.
Yeah, and I completely agree that on Valentine, I think the music was a little more interesting than the lyrics, and then on Ben Franklin, it's definitely the lyrics thematically and the way that the lyrics are laid out that are, I think, to me, more interesting than the music. The music on this one is kind of emotionless, and her vocal delivery is a little emotionless for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the lyrics, I love. It's a very frank appeal to this other woman's emotions, and the way that it's phrased is not at all healthy. And this is a song about coming out of, not about coming out of rehab, but it references coming out of rehab
Mm-hmm.
because Lindsey Jordan, who is Snail Mail, spent 45 days in rehab, I think like a year ago, and came out of it with this song being like very humbled by the experience and felt vulnerable enough to write this kind of song. And it's just like, it's not a healthy appeal to this girl's emotions, but that's kind of what makes it such an interesting song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that is where a good song becomes a great one. You know, in my eyes, like to me, this was my favorite one on the album, just because the way the lyrics are, it's like a very real, honest look. And when someone is can look in the mirror, not only that, recognize and describe what they see, you know, I think that is another thing that takes you a step further into being a very good songwriter. And you know, I think on this one in particular, for me, it was like, you know, post rehab, I've been feeling so small. I miss your attention. I wish I could call. It's like those are simple lyrics, right? But the feeling they evoke is not. And I think that's where the real strength is when she is at her best lyrically. Like that's the kind of feeling I get.
Yeah, again, it's an elegant solution. She's not putting a hat on a
Mm-hmm.
hat and just kind of letting it speak for itself.
Yeah.
Um, so my next pick, just to scoot, or my first
Mm-hmm.
pick, I guess, was the song "Light Blue," and this is actually an example for me where the album gently whiffed.
Mm-hmm.
So I, to
Okay.
kind of spoil the end, am thumbs in the middle on this album, trending towards positive.
Okay.
And it's songs like "Light Blue." It's kind of the same way the John Mayer album. I was like, the stuff that I like, and the stuff that I can see the holes in, I can't really enjoy. "Light
Yeah.
Blue" is an example of that for me because it starts off, it sounds like the soundtrack to an indie movie from the 2000s. Like the first time I
Mm-hmm.
heard it, I was driving and the sunlight's coming through the branches and I'm just driving and it's got this like sad, tender, contemplative song and more obsessive lyrics. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
it wants to be kind of a more significant song than it is. And a big part of that problem is the vocal delivery. There are a
Okay.
couple times throughout this album where Lindsey Jordan tries to bust out some shit and winds up flatter than a plate of piss. Again, I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like shocking that she left it in sometimes. Where it's like, whoa, you are not in tune at all. What
Mm-hmm.
is this? And that can be interesting when that's a stylistic choice, but it just like didn't come across as one. And this was a song that if you're gonna strip it back like this, you gotta really hit all the emotional notes for us in the way that you
Mm-hmm.
sing it. And I don't think she pulled that off here.
I think that's I think that's fair because this one definitely was not one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It was just like it was too light. It was not like I don't know. It just felt like whatever I was looking for, there just wasn't enough of it there in the song. Certainly not what I found in the other ones we talked about so far. So I mean, it's called Light Blue. I think it was lightweight. You know, just not
Oh
like
shit,
that.
Geoff! Look at you throwing haymakers.
Yeah, you like that? It's a new year. It's a new me. What can I say?
I love it. I love this new energy.
Yeah. Well, do you want to move on to Forever
Yeah.
Sailing?
Forever, parentheses, sailing. That was another pick of mine. So
Mm-hmm.
this one samples the song You and I by Madeleine Kane. I have no idea who that is. I don't know if you
Nope.
looked her up.
Nope.
I shoulda. I feel like the professionalism growing
Listen.
pains need to knock it off.
Listen, we're baby steps, okay? For every 1,000 views we get on YouTube, we'll learn a new skill. The next one that we learn can be research.
Will be look everything up. Or
Yes.
don't reference it if you don't have the ability to talk about it, like I just did.
Well, this is giving everybody the opportunity to do so for themselves. And we are nothing if not a bootstraps podcast.
Amen. Let's all do it. Let's all find Madeleine Kane, You and I, which is a song that gets sampled here in Forever, parentheses, sailing. My brain tried to trick me into thinking the parentheses was sailing because I was hearing samples from Christopher Cross in it. Not the case. You listen close, you go, no, there's no sailing. You just wanted that too much. But here's my inroad. I think this is one of the most interesting sounds on the album because it's like a heavy use of synth. And again, that sample, like she built the song off the sample. And I think that's really interesting, especially when you're known for your guitar, and your last album was like very guitar forward and focused on that, to kind of do something a little more out of the box. And the problem with this is it's another song about, and this is like a low key problem, because again, it's a good song. It's a song, it's more content about obsession. And the problem is it's more interesting than Light Blue, but it serves the same function. So in terms of like stacking these on the album, just cut Light Blue. I get what you were trying to do, but do something different with Light Blue, or cut it. Because Forever is the superior song. It just has a way cooler sound, and it says the same thing.
And I think it does a much better job saying it.
Yes.
Too.
Yep.
Like I think again lyrically, like there was a drastic difference between Light Blue and this one. You know, the just opening line, I might have made a stranger out of you, and I'm a stranger too. Using stranger 2 different ways, back to back, and it doesn't lack of any sense to do that. You know, and I think it's, you know, there's where she separates herself is when the lyrics are great. You know, the music can be iffy, but she's capable of lyrics good enough to kind of transcend that. So I think when you get examples like this, it does what you're saying. Light Blue didn't have the gumption, didn't have the guts to do it. Forever does.
Yeah, I would agree. So yeah, I don't know. This was an interesting 1-2 punch for me, but I like that we landed on Forever coming out of it. Because if Light Blue had come after it, it might have like really kind of made me pissy and tainted my attitude for the rest of the album. So good positioning in that sense. But yeah.
And I mean, it wasn't a long album either, so I feel like maybe she felt like she needs to just like have a certain number of songs. But I don't know. I feel like it's just, what are you really sacrificing there? You know, is the sacrifice of leaving the song off the album really that much worse to you than putting it on there and have it not be as strong? I don't know.
There again, she probably thought it was good, you know? I mean, that sounds super dick, but I mean, because you have to believe in the thing. You wouldn't
That's true.
put something out if you weren't sure it was like, yeah, this is what I wanted to say. So sorry I'm being a fucking asshole about it. But again, I'm like leaning net positive on this. It's not like you can't say it's bad. That's
true. I feel like there's got to be a certain amount of ego involved to make it that far in the entertainment industry.
That's very true.
You gotta think you're pretty damn good to have the confidence to keep going. So that's fair. So the next one, Glory. So this one gave me, was it Caroline Rose vibes, just the lyrics. The music, not so much. but the lyrics, like, it gave me that very much. The Weeknd does the same thing where it's like it's about California, but it gives you a very specific picture of California, where it's not just like a California party song. It's like, okay, California is great, but look at this stuff that's really not that great about it, you know. And I think I like perspectives like that. I really like the music in this one. I think it's overall to me like maybe the most like popish kind of song, I guess, for me as far as like the music's good, the lyrics are good. It has like, you know, verse, chorus. Like it has very A B structure. You know, so to me, it's like the most pop oriented one, at least to my ear, on the album. And yes, I like pop music, so I liked it.
Yeah, it is. It's super pop forward, and it's got like indie punk, like early 2000s kind of, you know, indie punk carried over post punk kind of sound. You talk about Brutal from Sour, Olivia Rodrigo. This is, in my mind, kind of a companion piece in terms
Mm-hmm.
of the aggression and the idea behind it, which is, you know, taking your narrative back from a total Svengali. So you're like, okay, nope, I'm in charge here.
Mm-hmm.
And on some level, you got to recognize, no, you're not. You're a huge
Yeah.
simp for this person. So you can talk a big game all you want, but the second they give you the eyes, you're going to melt.
Yeah.
Listen, you want to talk about a band that I owe an apology. Haim. I've been listening to more Haim. And I saw Licorice Pizza. And if Alana Haim ever looked at me the way she looks at the dude in that movie, I would keel over and turn into powder. So I completely understand what it's like to be trapped in someone's spell. It is a powerful thing.
Yeah. Was that movie good?
It was super fucking good. It was
Okay.
amazing.
As good as the new Spider-Man?
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, well, buddy. It's very interesting. I suggest a left-handed cigarette before you go watch that one.
Oh, a little laser lettuce, huh?
Yes, there's a lot of Doctor Strange, so it's a really fun experience. I
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
say, really fun experience.
Nice. Maybe I'll eat a perfectly regular cookie and see.
Yes,
That'd be
yes,
interesting.
yes, and just see how it crumbles.
Oh, Jeff. Look at you. Dodge, parry, attack. Unreal.
Telling you, it's the gym membership. You know, I'm not in shape yet, but the mentality is there.
You got those endorphins going. They're
Yeah,
coursing through you.
we're razor sharp right now. All right, well, what do you say we wrap this one up? There's one more song to go.
Yeah.
Tell us what it is.
So the last one is my final pick, which is Mia.
Mm-hmm.
So I talked earlier about song placement on the album and Light Blue coming right before Forever and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So here's where the misplacement of a song really, really worked for me, because she's ending the album on one of the most interesting sounding songs.
Okay.
But the vibe is just like deep disappointment that you are not willing to fully accept yet. It doesn't feel real.
Mm-hmm.
So she likened it to waking up the day after a breakup and not really realizing that it happened, and then it hits you. You're like, oh wait, I broke up with so and so last night. Oh fuck, and then the reality sets in, and now you're living in that world. And what it's like in that moment where you realize it was real, and now I have to deal with it, and it's just coming to you in a flood. That's what this song is. That is a very depressing thematic way to end this breakup album, is on just like total turmoil and no resolution whatsoever. But I think it's perfect. It's a perfectly chaotic way to do it. And the style of the song, she saved the best for last. This, I could hear Tom Waits doing this. I could hear Joe Cocker. It kind of reminds me of like, you are so beautiful. That like, you're everything. Like the steps up in that.
It would
totally
be cool
hear that here.
if you had someone like, imagine like the White Buffalo does this song. I forget what his real name is, but like it's like an old like country, like outlaw country guy song, but it's this, what she 23, 22-year-old girl.
22.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty goddamn cool.
It's super fucking cool. It does. It sounds like, again, I go to my good friend Tom Waits. I could hear him, like when I said for when we did Miley Cyrus 2 years ago, I could hear him doing the song The Golden G String, as ridiculous as that sounds. It just had that kind of same structure. You just hear his voice going over it. And it's got that same spirit of just like total despair in this song. And it feels real. I believed what she said. This is the most invested in the vocals she was. Unfortunately, to her own detriment, because the wheels really kind of come loose on this one vocally.
Yeah.
You hear a lot of sour notes and flat spots. And I'll take it in the context of you're so emotional you can't really control how it's coming out. I'll take it in that context. But yeah, you just have like, there's orchestra piped into this. She originally wanted it to be synth, and then the producer she was working with reworked it into an orchestral bit. And the guitar clashes with it a little bit, but the orchestration's just so good that you don't care.
Yeah, and I think she has time, like with like a vocal coach, to learn. She may not have like Beyonce power or like Celine Dion power. She may not have that, but like she has a decent, like a good voice. And I think with training, it can become a pretty good voice. Like, I don't know if she'll ever get to a point where we're going to put her in the Hall of Fame because of her vocal ability, but I think if she can get her voice to at least the level of her, like maybe her songwriting or better, I think that if you can marry those two things a little more, then I think she's probably going to find a lot of success anyway. But I hope she does that, because I think she'll get her message across better if she just like does a little work to hit those notes
and I
figure out how to do it.
Yeah, it's gonna come the more she does shit like this. Like the more she kind of sees what the response is to this, and how did this feel making it, like how authentic did this feel to you? Because I know sometimes, not to totally conflate the two things, but making videos for the YouTube channel, there was one I did where it was for Ocean Man, where I tried to like give a cerebral response to that song, and I was like, it's fucking stupid and ridiculous and amazing. I sound like an asshole if I sit here and I'm like, oh well, the cool thing that Ocean Man does. So instead I did a fucking lip sync, and it was fun as hell, and I'm like, that's me, that's the song. So there is something to be said for total confidence in what you're including in an album, but also the right to go back and look at it and go, it felt right at the time, but I don't want to do more of this. But if I have a suggestion for Lindsey Jordan, Snail Mail, look very closely at Mia. Look at this song. I want to hear more of this shit. It's really fucking cool. This is the good stuff.
Yeah. See, I think that is generally the attitude that I had about this, and I think I'm a little more positive on it than you are. I'm at probably like, if it's like a gauge, all the way down is no good, all the way over is I'm probably like 3/4 of the way there, like 75% towards fully stream it. So definitely on the good side of the middle ground, but it's just, I think there's some room for improvement, which I think but still, she's 22 years old, and we got something this good already. It's like when you see a really good player in the minor leagues, they're not ready for the majors yet. But they're going to be like another album or two, and she may be one of the greats. We don't know, but I think she's got a lot of good things to build on here, and I hope she picks those things and builds on them.
Yeah, totally. Again, Lindsey Jordan is incredibly talented. I none of this is like, I want to say, no, I can confidently say none of it is bad. There are just things that whiffed for me, and I am gonna say stream it. Fuck it, stream it. And
Okay.
if I'm thumbs in the middle on something, like, you kind of owe it to yourself to check it out and see if I'm totally wrong. And maybe you can tell me why I need to listen to another song again and reevaluate it, and I will do that. Because all I'll say is if this album had 2 more songs the quality of Mia, I'll go ahead and say, yeah, 2 more the quality of Mia plus Valentine plus Forever. This would be a hands down, like by a country mile, I would be enthusiastically recommending this. It just, like, what didn't hit with me, and what I liked wasn't enough to send it over the top for me. But everyone should go listen to it.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, I'm kind of glad because we got that comment about how someone was missing hearing about this one on our end of the year podcast. And, I kind of thought about it. I was like, yeah, I guess it was kind of like a big one that we missed, in the scene that we've spent a lot of time in, in that genre. This was kind of a big one that we missed to have included on that show. But after listening to it, I don't think it was going to be cracking any of my best of lists, if that's what someone was looking for.
Yeah, that's the thing. And to the person that suggested this, ostensibly you're going to listen. Again, it's not a total slam, but that's a salient point you bring up. I can't remember if it was like who it was, if it was Consequence of Sound or Pitchfork or Rolling Stone or who, but somebody had this as the number 15 album of the year.
I think it was Pitchfork.
It was Pitchfork?
I think so.
That makes sense for Pitchfork.
Yeah.
Which again sounds like a dig on Snail Mail, and it's not. But Pitchfork's pretty predictable at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, oh my God, 15. When I saw the 15, I was like, wow, that good, huh? And then you listen and you're like, someone really did a lot of convincing themselves to put it that high up. It's not dog shit, not even close. But it's not, I wouldn't call it one of the year's best masterpieces.
Yeah. It ranked higher than Sour did on Pitchfork's list. I mean,
of course it did.
Like by any, I don't know, subjective, objective, whatever, like by any measure, like I think Sour is a better album than this one. And it's just like, why? I don't know. Maybe I'm just, it's 2022. I got to stop beating the drum for Sour. It's going to clean up at the Grammys. Everybody knows it. But God damn it. Like, I'm a little upset that someone was like, why did this one make your list? I was like, because we just told you why it didn't make our list. It was good, but not great.
I'll give that person the benefit of the doubt in saying that maybe they were just interested in our opinion of it and it wasn't like a militaristic suggestion. But if it was, consider yourself thoroughly sniped, my friend.
I was just shooting from the hip tonight.
We're just driving this person. They're like, fuck you guys. Yeah.
No, come back.
Never fucking suggest anything again.
Well, is there anything else that you have to speak on this week?
We got a little bit of time, don't we?
Do we? I don't know. I didn't bring my recording window over the other window here. So I'm flying
experimenting. You're experimenting with video. We're at 46 minutes, and we've also got our opening ramble tamble where we try to sync up. So I mean, we're looking at probably like a 45-minute episode at this point, which is fine. It's never a bad thing to go short, but I don't know how you would feel about this if you want people to be more surprised by some of the stuff we pick, or if maybe you want to walk through the Bramble Patch with me, which is a playlist I've made on Spotify of potential stuff for us to cover.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I will say that I don't know when it's coming out, but Coheed has placed a countdown on their website. And history has told us that only means one thing. New album is coming out. Who knows when? I don't know. But I'm staking my flag that we go talk about the new Coheed when it comes out.
Oh, no doubt. It's going to be a double album. Did you know that?
Oh, yes.
They did the track listing reveal, and all of side D is just question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yeah, well, you know what they did with the Unheavenly Creatures album?
No.
And the, which one? The No World for Tomorrow album? His side D is just like an etched, design. So it's really 3 sides. Which I don't mind, because, I mean, they're long songs. It's not like you're getting gypped on the album here. Ooh, I shouldn't say that word. I feel like I got to get that one out of my system. The word gypped. I don't think we're going to get any blowback, but it's not a good one.
Yeah, no, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Shame on you, Geoff.
Yeah, see, let me have it. Bring
You'll
on the
join
guilt.
your friend Patton Oswalt in culture jail.
Yeah, so I think it's going to probably end up being like that. Where side D, they're putting the question marks and they'll be like, oh, special edition engraving on side D because it's just not enough songs to warrant a fourth side on the record. But we'll see.
What if side D is all just one long song?
Now that, oh, my friend, now that would be incredible. I mean, that'd be like a 20-something minute song if they use the whole side, which I guess they wouldn't have to do. But
be like Prince's Love Sexy, where it's like one song kind of divided into themes within itself. It's like the Abbey Road medley.
Dang. Yeah. And it also means the new part of the story is coming out, too.
Yeah.
That's the storyline.
You're probably going to have to give me a refresher. We'll do a refresher episode to catch the audience up to speed and me.
Okay.
I think that'd be good before that comes out.
Do we want to put it out in the air that we have one Tanner Acebo join us?
I don't see why not.
For that episode?
I know we got a lot of Coheed heads out there in the audience, so
yeah.
I think they'd be more than willing to chip in some suggestions of like what we need to know.
Yes.
Or what I need to know, because I know you know.
Yes. Okay. So that's out of the way. We've got that date to be determined, but it's on the schedule.
Yes. It's
right.
Penciled in.
Yes. So tell me more about this playlist.
So I should make you a collaborator on it too. It is called Oodle 2022. Snail Mail is in here. There's the album. So I went through and I looked for, besides Snail Mail after it was suggested to us, I went through and looked at stuff that kind of was on lists and I hadn't heard of the artist or it looked interesting. There's Ho Tales by Jasmine Sullivan. Are you familiar?
I haven't heard it. I'm like, that is one that I know we're going to do for the show eventually, or I thought we were going to, so I didn't listen to it. I wanted to.
It made a lot of people's year-end best of lists. Mm-hmm. Number one on one of the lists I looked at, actually. So we got Ho Tales. I don't know what the name of the album is. Oh, it's just called LP by JPEG Mafia, whom I know nothing about. Couldn't tell you what this is. It's rap because it says, what kind of rapping is this? That's as far as we got.
Sounds promising.
Oh, extremely. We've got the album To Hell With It by Pink Panthers.
Okay.
No idea.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Summer Walker got an album out there.
Another R&B.
Yes. Yeah. Still over it. This could be the year of us doing the Women of R&B. That I would not hate. I would not kick that theme out of bed for eating crackers. That would be a fun year.
What if we do like a series? Like a standalone, like a separate thing.
Like structured house so within our like track whatever structure.
The side projects.
Ooh, okay. A little spotlight on the Women of R&B. Do we want to keep it to just the Women of R&B? Or do we want to have...
No, we could do like a different genre each one of those.
Oh, okay.
Like have a dedicated episode of like, just free roll basically, like however long we want it to be, and just have a list of artists that we think should be talked about. Or we just like post it and be like, hey, we're going to do an episode on blah. Like tell us who we need to talk about in this episode about blah. Whatever it is, so we can generate maybe a little bit of participation that way too.
That'd be good. Do not suggest bro country.
Yeah, do not. Well, I mean, so we're gonna lead the discussion with what the genre is gonna be.
Yeah, we'll tell you what we're all doing.
Yeah. Be like we're interested in this genre of music that we don't necessarily know a lot about, and we want to learn a little more about it.
Yeah,
this is where that whole research thing can kick in for us.
Yeah, there we go.
It's all full circle, baby.
We're going to crowdsource ideas, and we're going to look into them and not just do them blindly. Not
yes.
this year. Not this
yes,
time.
Not this year. Not this year. It's a new year.
we've got Mercurial World by Magdalena Bay. No idea what to expect
No
there.
idea. Yeah.
Here's an interesting individual, Dijon. The album is absolutely. Okay. I've heard a couple songs off this album. Pretty good, if you do say so myself.
Okay.
Parquet Courts came out with a new album. Parquet Courts, hit or miss for me. Tropical Fuckstorm came out with an album called Deep States. I've only heard like 1 or 2 Tropical Fuckstorm albums.
Okay. I've never heard of Tropical Fuckstorm.
I couldn't like recite for you what the songs are. I just know I remember looking at my phone and being like, huh, okay. Tropical Fuckstorm it is then.
Okay.
We have Marissa Nadler, The Path of the Clouds. No idea what to expect from that. Remy Wolf's album came out. I was wanting to do that one for a while. So that's worth looking at.
Okay.
And then Orla Gartland, which is someone I know, friend of the show, Jesse listens to. I think it's more indie girl, though. So maybe we punt on that until maybe we need to get our fix again.
Okay.
Not mean.
I know what you mean.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, make me a collaborator on that. I'll send some, because I'm getting some weird suggestions, I think based on, like, that I have Snail Mail and Turnstile and Coheed all in my, like, very recently listened to. So I'm getting a very specific type of, like, weird punk rock and roll. So it's some interesting things, but I'll send them through to you. Yeah,
and
so
for the
we
record,
we struck oil with Illuminati Hotties with that album, so I'm like, maybe we just got to keep throwing darts. You know?
I think we just gotta listen to these, and like all the shit that I just read is not a commitment. I think, in fact, we shouldn't do all of those probably unless we get our asses in the jackpot, because there's gonna be stuff like The Weeknd. There are gonna be big releases, and we want to make sure that we service a large number of people. But yeah, if we find the next Let Me Do One More, which I got on vinyl for Christmas, thank you very much to Ma Sasser. I think it's just like we go through the playlist periodically. If you hear something from outside, chuck it in the playlist, or just if you can't figure out something to listen to, go into the playlist and pick one and rip it. And if it's worth it, tell the other person they got to listen. I think we just got to keep a running dialogue via Spotify.
Deal.
Yeah.
That's a deal. Well, I think now's a good time for a little housekeeping.
Yes.
Go follow us on YouTube. Go check out all of our YouTube videos. Look out for even more video content coming to you soon. We are getting some things figured out. And when we get it figured out, it's going to be a whole new world out on that line, baby. Because you're going to be able to see our shining faces all the time. Whenever you want, we'll be there for you. So you search hashtag out on that line. Eventually, we're going to be able to be searchable by like just typing it out on that line. And it's going to find us. We'll get there. Y'all are helping us get there because we've got thousands of views now. That's right. Thousands with an S. Multiple thousands of views. Due in large part to Alex's video editing prowess, which has been very key to our success thus far on the tube. But in order to continue that, we're going to need all of you to like, subscribe, comment, all of those things. Great place to request, songs, reactions, whatever it might be. Great place to do that because we see those comments all the time. We're responding to them whenever we see them, when it's relevant anyway. If people come in there with some bullshit, we're just going to probably delete it. Done so in the past. We reserve the right to do that. Follow us on Twitter, out on that line 1. Get us on Instagram, out on that line. You can also send us an email, outonthatline@gmail.com. If you want it to be long form, you can leave pretty long comments on YouTube. They let you type pretty much a novel in there. But if you've got even more to say, go ahead and email us. outonthatline@gmail.com. Let us know what you want to hear. If you've got something that you've been just dying for us to talk about, whether it's a new album or one that you've listened to for 20 years, it doesn't matter. If you love it and you think we should talk about it, tell us. And we'll find some way, shape, or form to get that content out there for you. Alex, was there anything else?
Did you guys really think that I was going to start 2022 off and get all the way through an episode without mentioning Frank Zappa? The bit lives, you guys. Come on.
Old habits die hard up here on Out on That Line.
They sure fucking do,
They
Geoff.
sure do. Well, if you've got nothing else, I've got nothing else. So I think since we have nothing else, we'll just say until next time.